Hi, my name is Jackie Lee Price and welcome to Shadowboxruk. So how are you anyway?
Good. It was crazy to meet you in down in Peterborough
I
in
know,
reception.
I know.
That
All
was
boxing
crazy.
people meet up
Yeah,
in the strangest of places. So how have you
exactly.
been anyway?
It's great to be back home to Lanzarote, that's to be honest with you. And I've just seen there now that the quarantine has took off from the UK and Ireland from to come to Canary Islands, and
Yeah.
which is great because I had to go home for 2 weeks and a bit before I went over to England. It was crazy. Get tested before I went out.
Yeah.
So you know yourself, having the quarantine is crazy, especially going back to training fighters. I've got other fighters in the gym that I need to be working with as well. Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah. I was wondering if you had managed to get back to Ireland beforehand, but then I guess they locked down, did they not, before you were able to get there?
no, I went back to Ireland. I stayed back
Oh,
in
you,
Ireland. That's where I went to Ireland to Dublin to do my quarantine show. I had to, lucky enough, I have a house back there I was staying in.
yeah.
You know, and then I flew from Ireland, Dublin, over then to London for the fight.
Oh, I
And
see.
then
I
when the
see what you're
fight
saying.
finished in London, then I went up. I went up to
Wakefield.
Wakefield where Paulie was fighting. So it was a rough
So
out.
is that why the
2 weeks.
accent's stronger because you've been home?
Yes. No, I don't think I've ever lost my accent.
No, it sounds good.
I just have to slow down when I'm speaking.
No, I understand now. I actually understand the Dublin accent. So listen, you had a good weekend and a bad weekend. Let's talk about the fights at the weekend. It was hectic. Obviously, you had two boxers on. You've just explained that you did Peterborough, then you had to fly off to Wakefield to do Paul McCullagh. Let's talk about the Lawsy fight to start off with. Difficult to watch.
Very. I'm not really going to go too much into the Lawsy fight because it's not really for us to talk about. You know yourself, it's not. It didn't go to the game plan, and there's no excuses. The better man won. We're not going to throw out excuses, but Lawsy wasn't 100%, and everybody that knows Lawsy knows he wasn't 100%. And these are things in boxing. You learn from these things, and sometimes it can be a good thing, sometimes it can be a bad thing. But I think it was a good thing for Lawsy, and he's going to come back much better and bigger in the future. And believe me in that. You know, Lawsy's going to really come back. He's got that fighting spirit. He didn't want to duck out of the fight. I'm not going to give excuses, but I know what happened in camp, and I'm not going to make excuses out. The kid done the business on the night. That's it. You know, all we need to do now is Lawsy's taking a break with the family to look after it. His granny's not too good. I hope she didn't get some good news. And he's just going to come back, and we're going to just go back to the drawing board and start all over again. You know, he has his team out here. They're all here to support him. All the boys been sending messages, you know. At the end of the day, when one wins, we all win. When one loses, we all lose. So that's our mindset. We all work together and we all have each other's back. And that's why Champs Camps is getting out there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm going to be honest with you now. I don't know the kid, but he did look nervous beforehand. Maybe that was a coach's instinct. For me, he looked nervous when he was walking into the ring and when he got into the corner. That's just something that I picked up on. Do you know what I mean?
As I say, I don't want to make excuses because it looks bad for the guy that he fought against. You start giving out excuses, people say, excuses. I ain't going to give an excuse. But in our camp, we know what went wrong. He wasn't 100%. That's one thing we can tell you. I'm not going to say no more. If you need to know anything, Lawsy will speak to you. But at the minute now, we got to respect the opponent that he fought.
Yeah.
And we're just going to dust it off. And, you know, all of us together, we'll all just, you know, get back in the gym, back on the drawing board, and we just got to work. Yes. You know, for 2021 will be a big year for Joe Lawsy. We'll get back in. And listen, great. The best fighters in the world lose. The best. Like the same Lomachenko the other night lost. You know, at the end of the day, it's how you come back and you show the true grit of a champion. Yeah. And that's the way it goes, you know. And I really think the kid has that. So let it go, brush it off, and let's get ready for 2021. That's what I say.
What would you say, though, to people that said perhaps you should have stopped the fight a little bit sooner, shoulda, coulda, woulda. What
Well,
would you like to say to those
I'll
people?
explain why. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is something that not a lot of fighters do. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a bit of education on something here. When we're in the gym and I have fighters, and all my fighters know, okay, we do this. I just shout out of nowhere, I'd say, hurt fighter. Okay? That means you're hurt. So my fighters go down on the knee. And the first thing they do is look at me in the corner, and I will tell them, 4, 5. Would you see me do all the counting with the ref?
I did.
And Lawsy was looking at me. I said, are you okay? He says, yeah. And I told him to breathe. If he wasn't okay, he wouldn't have breathed and he wouldn't have looked at me. His mind was there. He was with me. He was functioning. If I said to him, breathe, and he didn't breathe, if I said to him, count, and he didn't count, and he didn't, I would have pulled him. Yeah. But that's the fighting spirit in fighters. You know, you got to give them that. You know, anybody can turn around and just get caught with a shot and then come back. Yeah. So then he got caught with a great shot. And I threw the towel in. And I said to the ref, what are you counting for? The towel's thrown in.
Yeah.
Which the camera is on the ref, but I did throw a towel in when he went down the last time.
Yeah.
So
can you also explain to people how much of a knife's edge that is to try and make that decision, and like you've just said, some people can come back from those types of shots.
100%. We've seen it for years. We've seen it for years. Fighters coming back, getting caught, and coming out and just swinging a right hand and then dropping the person. So once his mind was there, he was still there with me. He knew what he was doing. He looked at me. He was on the count with me. Told him 5, 6, 7. Now I said, step up now. And he stepped up. If he didn't do none of that, I would have said, call the fight off. But he's done everything. So I had to give him the chance. Because let me tell you something now. If I'd have thrown the towel in at that moment, okay, I would have been the biggest, baddest coach out there. Oh, you shouldn't have thrown the towel in. You shouldn't have done that. You should have let him fight on. But then you throw the towel in, and you don't throw the towel in. But you have to make the decision when it's right. And I thought that decision, I'm going to stay with that decision.
Yeah.
He was looking at me. He knew where he was. And he was able to look at the count, do what I told him to do. If he didn't do any of that, I would have stopped the fight. Yeah. So that's why I let him carry on. And that's what we work on in the gym. We work on when you're hurt, it doesn't mean you lost a round. You still haven't lost the fight. You haven't lost the war. So you go down on your knee, you take a break, get your mind back around and grab him. So Lawsy did try and grab him to hold on. He didn't grab him as good, but he tried. So
he did try.
He did try. So his belts, and he never done that before he come with me. And he didn't even know, because when I told him to do this, he was like, I never done this before. So these are things, and that's the shame with coaches out there. There's coaches out there that, you know, they haven't got a breeze what they're doing. And that's not me putting coaches down. That's me talking the truth. You know, they don't. And I've got guys coming to my gym and they didn't know small things about boxing. And listen, that's what I love. I'm passionate about the game. I've been in them ropes. I fought as a professional and an amateur. And I've fought everywhere. And I've been there and I know what it's about. But I will stand by my decision of what I've done. And I'll still stand by it. You know what I mean? I gave him a fighting chance. That's it. And it wasn't Lawsy's day at the office. That's it.
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. It happens to everybody. But it's now how Lawsy comes back after this. And I believe Lawsy will come back. And we've got a lot of work to do. And I'm looking forward to really pushing the kid, because I know he's got true heart. He could have pulled out that fight. And he didn't want to pull out that fight. Do you understand?
I do. To be honest with you, one of the things that I'm thinking at this moment in time, correct me if I'm wrong, that, listen, people are being offered fights left, right and centre, okay? Is it a case now that if you don't take these fights, you do not know when the next time comes around? Because there's so many people desperate to fight. Do you know what I mean?
And that's it. Like, he hasn't fought since, I think it was February. I think it was January, February, his last fight. So he was over here in training camp. He was over in a new place. He was only with me for 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, not even full, because he took it like a week out between that because he wasn't too good. But look, it's life. I'm not going to make excuses. I know it's going to come back to something going to be getting said in my mouth, and I don't want to say it, but it's life. Lawsy will come back. He wasn't himself. That's all I got to say. And I'm not taking it away from Charlton. He done a great job. He come out. He done what he had to do. But that was not Joe Laws that he fought, and I'm telling you now that. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't think you're making excuses at all. I mean, we're two coaches.
Yeah, but listen, we know the way this goes. We know the way the internet goes. We know, like, he's getting up a stick on the internet. People are giving me stick. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. All I care about is my fighters, and they're my boys, and I treat them like my family, and I have their back through thick and thin, and that's what it's all about. And that's, I don't care what everyone say. I don't care what people got to say. It was a big stage. Lawsy was there before, and at the end of the day, he didn't turn up. That's it. And he will come back again, because you know why? Because people love him. And Newcastle are great support, and they support that kid through thick and thin. And he'll be back, and he'll get a chance again. And that's one thing I know.
Yeah, I love the passion in your voice, and it is easy for everybody. Listen, we've all got opinions. We're boxing people. Everybody's got an opinion. But until you're in that corner, in that split second when you've got to make a decision, I'm telling you, I've been there. You know, and you get the effing blind when you thought, I've thrown in the towel once, and I got the effing blind.
Exactly. Listen, you can do it. It's that second that you've got to just make them vital decisions. It's like when the guys are out there fighting and you're a third eye, you see things and you're like, okay, this is what you got to do. So when they come back, we're trying to tell them this is what you got to do, because you're their third eye, you know, and you are there to help them no matter what. So it's you have to make the right decisions. That's for them and for you. And you know what I mean? It's the toughest decision in the world to have to do things like that. And I think I'm 100% keeping to what I said. And I believe I made the right decision. He was in the right mind. He looked at me in the corner. I showed him my hands. I counted my fingers. I told him to breathe in your nose, out your mouth. He done it. And I said, step up now. And he stepped up. If he wasn't in the right mind, would he have done any of them things I asked him?
Well, you could actually see it on camera, to be fair.
Thank you. But then the rest of me case.
You can see it. You can see you saying what you have to say and checking him out.
And making sure. And then after that, then when he did go down, then after that, then I threw the towel in. On the referee, I think he counted 2, and I threw the towel in. He was still fucking counting. Sorry for cursing. I apologise. He was still counting.
It's fine.
He was still counting, and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Stop counting like that." And then I jumped in the ring. Yeah. You know.
I wanted to address it because I know that you've been getting a little bit of stick. And
yes, I have. But listen, it's not going to bother me.
Yeah.
Because I've been around boxing since I'm 8 years of age. I've been around the toughest parts of boxing. I've been in doghouses. I've been in America. I've been all over the world. And you know what? It don't bother me. Once my boy is healthy, he's back on his feet, he's relaxed. All I care about is my fighters. I don't care what people have to say, because we could have won and still you'd get stick and people would have bad things to say. So it makes no difference to me, you know what I mean? I'm just happy that Joe's okay, he's healthy and safe at home, he's with his family, and that's the main thing for me. Nothing else.
It is, to be fair. You know, it was difficult. Like I say, it was difficult. And then you pick yourself up and you rush off to Wakefield, of all places.
I jumped in Joe's car, right, because I couldn't, right. I went up to the hospital, made sure he was okay first, okay? And his father's a lovely man up there. He was really upset, and, you know, father and son, they're like 2 brothers, I swear. Lovely, lovely man. Was there, spoke with him, said he's good. They're going to just check over him. And it was a routine checkup, do you know what I mean? He just had to make sure he's okay, which is brilliant, you know, it's great to see. So he said, take it into my car. I'm sorry for letting Paul down. He was even thinking of Paulie. Like, and I said, listen, don't be thinking of Paulie. Paulie knows you're there. So we jumped in the car, me and the cut guy, he does the hands and the cuts. Lovely fella, Tommy McCormick. He works with my fighters now with me. So he jumps in the car. We drive to Wakefield. It's like 3 or 4 in the morning we get there. I get to the hotel and I go to sleep because we can't get on no other transport because it's bubble to bubble. We couldn't get it, you know, for the test. That was the rule with the British board. So we couldn't get no other transport. Me and Tommy done the test together. So me and him didn't even stop off at a garage, nothing. So we gets to the hotel, 4 in the morning, gets the head down. I woke up at 8. So that's 4 hours sleep, okay? Now, I wasn't the best of it. It really hurt me because I love my fighters. I'm not going to lie. I love me fighters and it hurt me and it still hurt me till today. Like I'm angry and I'm hurt about it. Yes, I'm not going to question myself because I know I done the right thing. Do you know what I mean? And it's not going to bother me about what people say, but I still care about my fighters. So when we're getting that,
Jonathan, sorry to cut across you, but to be honest with you, it is one of those things that all coaches do. So before anyone has anything to say, all coaches, whether you win or lose, you're going to question: did I do the right thing? Did I say the right thing?
100%.
Was it enough? Was it too little?
100%.
If you didn't feel this passionately about your fighters, do you know what I mean? There'd be
I wouldn't
wrong.
care. I wouldn't care. Eddie Hearn was offering for Joe to do 8 rounds. And because I knew Joe wasn't right? He was getting offered crazy money to do 8 rounds. He wanted them straight after the main event. And this is no lie. This is no lie. And I said no. If I was there to do it for the money, I could have took the money from me fight and said, yeah, give him 8 rounds. I said no, because I knew what happened in camp. And it's not an excuse. It's the truth. They begged me to give him 8 rounds. Loads of times and kept offering crazy money. I said no. I wasn't having it. That's the decision we made. But Joe just wouldn't pull out the fight. I wanted him to pull out, but he just wouldn't.
But I also understand it's difficult because, like I say, this is where I'm wondering where it becomes like you feel like you have to take. Where's
the respect for that, boy? Where's every man that steps into a boxing ring deserves respect?
Absolutely.
It's a dangerous sport. It's a sport that you can lose your life in a ring. So I respect everyone. That win, lose, draw. You have to respect that. And these people on the internet, they never even got in a ring in their life. They're just going on keyboard and just nothing else to do, not happy with their life. And they decide, oh, let's get on this guy because he's cocky. Because he makes a bit of noise. He thinks he's this, he thinks he's that. That's what gets Joe Laws where he is today, is with these different things that he does. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I got some hurtful texts, and it wasn't nice. And I was like, wow. But I didn't jump back on it. I was just like, I ain't even going to give him a piece of my mind. You know what I mean? I just ignored it, blanked it, just delete it. Do you know what I mean?
It's always interesting that if somebody is outgoing, let's say, he's confident, he's outgoing, all of a sudden, you can't win anyway. All of a sudden, you know, certain people want to see that person fail. So you can't win. If you're too quiet, you don't sell a fight. And if you're too loud, people hate you. It's like, do the talking with the gloves.
Yeah, that's Troy Colours. Well done.
Yeah.
Right. That's me brother, Will. That's it.
Oh, is that your brother?
That's me brother, yeah. That's me brother.
But it's true. The thing is, somewhere along the line, you're going to upset somebody. Well, not even upset somebody, because you're not trying to appease anybody. Do you know what I mean? But we know the game. There's always going to be somebody.
But I just want to say, Peter Kelly, love you, kid. He goes, go on the Thunder. I haven't heard that in a while. It brings back to me 14 days. Go on the Thunder.
It's not. Do you know what though? You can see here. There's lots of support for you. Do you know what I mean? And this is the thing. Listen, you've got to take the rough with the smooth. You know,
100%.
That as soon as you winning, everyone's going to be on top of you.
Listen, Timmy, I've seen it. Joe to then Paulie, and then Paulie goes in his pro debut. He fights a kid that fought against 14-0 guy, a 12-0 guy against Willie Hudson. You know, Willie's been around a long time. Paul's first pro debut, and Willie fights this guy when he was 13 or 14 fights. It's like this guy should have been for Paul when he's 5th or 6th fight, but because of the pandemic and what's going on, they stick him this guy. You know, he 3 draws, and he were like 3 wins. He probably should have won. Yeah. You know, he knocked out like 2 kids. You know, and he was a tough guy. He was there to fight. You know, Paul hits hard.
Look, it was a good listen. It was a good fight. I'm glad
he got the rounds. I'm happy he got the rounds in to show people what we've been working at in the gym.
Yeah.
And the other part of boxing that he has, the only thing he didn't do is use the jab enough, but we know that. And we worked on that, and it should have happened. But look, pro debut.
You just try to be greedy. That's what you want. Listen, let me tell you something. Number one, this kid
Tell me.
He
Tell me.
boxed so well, right?
Yeah.
Confident.
Yes.
He looked like he belonged in that ring. And I tell you what, everyone wants to impress, and I get it in the debut. But the kid took his time.
He took his time.
Oh.
And not only that, we walked on distance. Paulie's distance was well off in the amateurs.
Yeah.
Now his distance is there. He kept it, and even the lads were saying it. He keeping everything long. Body, head, body. Professional acts. That was part of professional fighting. And he cut the corners down lovely. He controlled the middle of the ring. Listen, I'm going to ask you something real quick, because I asked a lot of people this, and they never get it right.
Go on.
Many boxing rings is in one boxing ring.
What? Many
boxing rings is in one boxing ring.
Many boxing. Oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. In terms of that, well, I can't even explain it, but I think I know what you mean.
So tell me the answer. How many?
Oh, how many you're asking me?
Yeah.
2.
4. The 4 corners are all sliced in the middle. Down, it's 4 corners, it's 4 rings. And I catch everybody with that. New. You cut it down. If you look at Paul, he was in the middle of the ring. He let him walk to the left. He's going for left hook to the body, left hook to the head. Let him go to the right, overhand right drop to the body.
Yes, he did.
So we walked on all these things. And then you see him, when the guy's, his guard was really up because he knew Paul was a heavy hitter, I said, pull his hand down and come over with the right hand. And which he done it.
He did do it, actually, because I tell you what.
Everything I tell him, that kid.
Who brought that up? Barry Jones was saying a couple, because I only listen to Barry Jones when he's doing commentary because he talks sense. It was just, what was beautiful about it, like I say, was the distance. So he'd work, he wouldn't be greedy, then he'd give himself a little bit of distance to work. And even when he was trying to take him out, was it in the 3rd round he dropped him?
Yeah,
and then he stopped him. Yeah, he dropped him.
Stopped him in the 2.5 rounds he got in, which I was delighted with 2.5 rounds, because he hasn't fought in one whole year. Since November was his last fight. So imagine what he's like after 2 and 3 fights in the trot.
But listen, you know as well as I know, people like to say about the amateur game and so what and blah, blah. Personally, I'm going to say when a kid comes in with a solid amateur background, it's just like, okay, they need to learn some new tricks.
100%.
But he looked just like he belonged, like he hadn't been out the ring.
No, because we walked. He lived in my house through lockdown. We done 10 months in Lanzarote together, non-stop, just walking, grinding, walking on. Yeah. Just, I knew he could punch, but it was just getting him to get his distance correctly. His little movements, just ticking them off, little boxes here and there, and that's all I do. But a good coach will never change a fighter. What a good coach will do is add on spices, and that's what I've done. Just add on spices.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm a bit of a cook, chef.
Yeah, sprinkled, a few sprinkles. No, it was beautiful. You know what I mean? It was a beautiful. I mean, I was thinking, I bet he's so happy with that performance.
He's buzzing. Listen, he's just landed. He just sent me a message just now. Just landed, coach. Can't wait to get to the house. He's just landed. He went back to Belfast for a few days. Now he's back. I let him take the rest of the week off, and he'll be back in the gym Monday, and he'll be back training, because this kid is going to be the next big thing to come out of Ireland. And I'm telling everybody this. I've been telling them all this a long time, and now he's proven it, and now we're going to just next fight by fight, and he's just going to make a lot of noise. And you know what? He's a gem. He's got great manners, and he's great respect. Yeah. And that's what I love about him, and you can't teach that.
I interviewed him, and he's a nice kid, to be fair. He's a lovely, he's a gentleman.
Exactly. There's not many around.
No. But obviously you're one of them.
Thank you. I like you.
So listen, first, before we go on to your gym and the kids in your gym, I call them kids because they're younger than us. Yeah. But yeah, you were obviously a professional fighter. 12 or 13 fights, if I remember rightly. 12. Correct. There you go.
12 or 13. I had 10 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw.
Yeah. So listen, tell me about. I know you fought mostly in Dublin, which is great, obviously in front of your family and your friends and everything. But you also went to America. Can you tell me the differences between, or were there any differences even, boxing in Dublin to America?
Well, I went to America after I left the Ingles, and I went out there then, and just went over to Brooklyn, the Bronx, and it was all different. America was just different. I was walking the doors over there, and I was trying to pay rent, and loads of shows were cancelled on me. I was fighting on this show, got cancelled. Then I fought on another show, got cancelled. Crazy things happened in America. Mad. And anyway, we survived. And I ended up going to Brooklyn in Gleason's boxing gym. Nice. So the 3 rings in there. There was Sab Judah, Junior Jones. And it was like the Rocky movie. You know when you walk in the gym and just blacks everywhere? That's the way it was. And I'm white. Yeah. And I'm walking in there and I was like, wow. And nobody was like saying hello. But I had to earn my respect. Yeah. And I fought this kid called Rara. He was a Golden Glove champion. And we went for it. And anyway, he cut my eye out. And a few weeks later, I had James Country. James Country was my trainer. He was Tim Witherspoon's manager and trainer. And he's the godfather for all his kids, right? And he was the funniest guy you could ever meet. Great coach. And he was my coach. And we just got on great. And he goes, John, he's going to come at you, John. That's the way he spoke. He was just real deep. Yeah. And I ended up going out and sparring, and I give it to him. I ended up knocking this kid Rara out. And his coach jumped in. My coach jumped in. Everybody jumps around the ring, and everyone's screaming and all. And I'm like, what? You know what I mean? So I get out, and anyway, I come out of the dressing room, and then Sab Judah ended up coming over and going, respect. And he gave me a handshake, and then everybody started handshaking me. And then that was it. Then I was involved in the gym. Yeah. And I had a fight over there, my fight over there, and I ended up weighing 12 stone 2, which was the lightest I ever made in my life. And I weighed in on the day. I fought a guy, and I get on the scales, and I was dead. You could have pushed me over. And the kid comes in at 14 stone.
I was going to say, you're not a 12 stone fighter.
What? So if people go and look, if you look at Boxrec, you can see the weight difference. He was like 2 stone and a half heavier than me. And we fought on the day. I was weak, and I lost the fight. And that was my only loss in America, and my only loss ever again. I went home, I met Paul McCullagh, which is Paul's granddad. And he said, come back to Belfast, you're a strong kid, you shouldn't be fighting at that weight, and blah, blah, blah. So I goes home, and I went to Belfast, and the whole McCullagh family took me in. Paul was only 2 years of age, and he used to play wrestling with me, and this is no lie. And I used to beat him up. I wouldn't know about beating him up now, but I beat him up. And his father, Paul, and his mother, they looked after me great. And I went from house to house. I stayed in the granddad's, Paul, with his wife, Francie. Beautiful, beautiful people. Real people. I swear when I tell you, real. And they're family to me now. And I stayed down there for 6 or 7 years. And I met lovely people down there. And it was great. And I never got beaten then after that. And I went to Cruiserweight. And as you're seeing, I had 7 wins in a row as a Cruiserweight, and my shoulder kept ripping on me. I had a bad shoulder because I used to swing the overhand right. And for years, I was getting injuries after injuries, and I was out for a year, back in again. And my idea in boxing was to be a world champion, was to be the best. No one is ever going to stop me. I didn't drink, smoke, take drugs. I was disciplined. I didn't gamble. And these were the things that I said, I needed to do this. I want to do it. And I just didn't want to drink it anyway. And I didn't want to get involved. And I just said to myself, you know what, this isn't war. My father was sick with cancer at the time. And he ended up passing a few months later than after my last fight. And I just said, you know what, I'm 30 now, 31. I says, I'm not going to be a world champion now. Fights were only coming here and there. I didn't have a great promotion company around me. And I just said, if I'm not going to be a world champion and I'm not going to make it, I'm never going to be a junior man. So I just walked away. It was a hard decision. It really was. It killed me to walk, but I did.
But people will say you're smart for that, to be fair.
Well,
do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they will. And I do really think I am smart. And I never took much punishment. Even when I fought, I always had a good movement because I have to respect the Ingles, because Brennan Ingle did teach me the art of movement. When I was with Prince Nazim and Ryan Rhodes, he's my best mate, Johnny Nelson, they were all there, and I trained with all them, and it learned me to move, something that I didn't really do when I was fighting, because I was more of a puncher, so I used to always go more forward. But they taught me that. They taught me not to get hit, like hit and not be hit. And then when I went to Paul McCullagh, he really showed me what boxing was about, my IQ of boxing, about the 4 corners in the ring, the whole lot, and he really educated me. And that's what I mixed. I've mixed England to Brooklyn to Belfast, and I put it all together in my own patch. And that's what I've been putting, and it's working for me now. I have the likes of Francie Lewusa. He was my first fighter from Dublin. Lovely kid, 2 pro fights. I've got then Paul come over, then I've got Lee Reeves. He's a kid to watch out for. I love that kid. We've got a lot of work together, and he's really, you know, he's got so much talent. He doesn't even realise it, and he is a kid to watch out for. And trust me on that, Lee Reeves. And then I've got another 2 kids that are coming through. Thomas Hodgson, he's from Newcastle. He fought in the GB squad. Lovely, lovely kid. He's looking to turn over. He's joined the stable. And a kid, Stephen Kearns from Ireland. He's from Cork. Great, great, strong little kid. Only 18.
Wow.
Now, he's going to fight on, please God, if the seniors go together in January in Ireland. And then after that, he's going to turn over pro with us. But we've sat down, spoke. I like what I see with him. I like his dedication. It's all about their dedication and what they want to do. Yeah. I give them I give you a 4-week boot camp. You come, you train, that's your trial. If you can last the 4 weeks and not get sick and not quit, I'll sign you. You can join the stable. Because all my fighters will tell you, I take you to hell and back.
Yeah.
It's not a nice place to go to hell. But when I take you there and you come back from that, you can do anything.
I'm guessing it just becomes easier then, doesn't it, after that?
100%. 100%. And then you work on your boxing IQ. Boxing is a game of chess. People don't really think about it like that. It's like a game of chess. That's what it's about, boxing. And that's what we do. We just work. You know, we grind, we work hard, and then we work on all everything that we need to work on southpaw, orthodox, boxing, fighting. We mix it all together, because then we don't come into a hiccup. You know, if you're prepared for everything, then we're ready.
It seems very much like a family setup that you've got there. How or why did you choose Lanzarote? Or is that a silly question?
I come out to Lanzarote when I was fighting pro. I just love the place. Used to come over here doing a bit of running, great for losing weight. And the altitude weather is amazing out here. You're in the volcano mountains, and it's beautiful. And I just used to come over with my kids, Monique and Josh, 2 of my kids. They're on here listening as well. They're my stars. And my little son, Sonny, as you know.
Oh, I've seen him, yeah.
They're my reason of everything. You know, I love my kids and I love my family, and I'm a family man. And with my boxing, they come your family. The kids in the gym and everybody, they look up to you. You don't just come a trainer.
Yeah.
You take on so much more than that. You're the counsellor. You're the teacher. You're the father figure. You're the best mate. You know, you're there for every single thing. Yeah. Anything they need to speak about, I'm there to help them. And I'm there to help them in the best way of my knowledge that I can do it. And that's what I do, man. I'm telling you some crazy stories in boxing with young kids and kids that are there, like the problems that they have. And it's hard. But like, if there's any problem where it's bad, you know, I will speak to the parents. Do you know what I mean? But as you know what I'm talking about. But you don't realise that boxing just doesn't come as just training somebody. It's tough. You know, there's a lot more than just 100%. Training fighters.
100%.
Lot more. And I respect a lot of coaches out there. I respect a lot of coaches out there, because our job that we do, it's not an easy job, and we don't get paid enough to do what we do. We do not get paid enough to do what we do.
It's weird how you guys get paid the least, but you do, apart
and
from
the manager
the fighter,
gets 25%
you do the most.
To be on the phone and a coffee. I never understood that.
But you know, the thing is, again, people don't understand. Like you've just said, my coach, I remember my coach saying to me when I was actually still boxing, saying, you know, you love the kids, like you love them like they're your own, and you know, you think, oh, you're over exaggerating, and then you become a coach. Listen, you end up falling in love with these kids like they're your own family. When they bleed and they're hurt, you know, 100%. You feel hurt, you bleed. Am I right?
100%. 100%. And you know what? You come the mentor. That's what you do. You know, you're there, you're advising them through everything, you're there with them through thick and thin. You know what I mean? And that's really basically what it's all about. Yeah. You know? And it's tough. It's not an easy job that we got, you know what I mean? It's not an easy job.
I'm going to be honest. So from a coach's point of view, when I saw that shot that knocked down Lawsy in whatever round it was, I can't remember. Technically, I thought that's an amazing shot, but my heart broke for him, and I don't even know the kid, but my heart broke for him because I knew what was going to happen next.
Yes, yes.
Do you know what so there's a part that goes, fantastic shot. The other part that goes, fuck, and then the third part that goes, just my heart broke for the kid.
Yeah, but if you look at Lawsy, his hands was on his chest. You know what I mean? He got caught with a clean shot. That shot would have stopped anybody. And Lawsy, 100%. And Lawsy gets up off the floor. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other people wouldn't have got up off the floor, but he did, and he showed he was okay. As I say, you know, and you have to respect that as well, and that's what you're showing there as well. Getting hit with 8-ounce gloves.
Yeah.
And that guy's a powerhouse, as they say. Do you know what I mean? But Lawsy took, and he, you know, we went 3 rounds. I understand the situation, but as I say, that was 50% Lawsy in the ring.
Yeah. Somebody just said, you're a life coach. I can't see who it is that said it because it's flipped up, but it says you're a life coach as well as a boxing trainer.
100%.
True, really?
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for whoever says that. And we didn't get the name, so if you want to message again so we get your name, but thank you. And you're right. That's what we are. And you know, like it just showed the weekend, my up, like my down and then my up. You know? And then I'm still down like a few days later because I felt for my boy. And listen, and all my boys, Lee Reeves, Francie, Stephen Kearns, Thomas, and I'm going to shout them all out, and Paul McCullagh, they all felt for Joe Laws because he's our boy. We love him.
Yeah.
And we all lost together with Joe that night. All of us. And you know what? We'll all win again with Joe when he's back right. And that's it.
I can't wait for the kid to get back in the gym, brush himself down, because that's what you've got to do. Take it on the chin.
I'm going to strip Joe Laws, strip him down, and he's going to start from fresh with boxing all over again. And he's going to need a long couple of months with me to get that done. And when I finish with him, he's going to be something not to mess with. I'm telling you. Because he's got a heart and he got balls, and you can't teach them things. Yeah. You cannot teach them things.
Yeah. The thing what I think he would also benefit from, on top of already of the skills he already has, is just he's already got the entertainment, the heart, all of that stuff. Just to box a little bit more. Just to box a little
bit more, and that's what I mean. Listen, Timmy, we knew all this before we left because, as you know, he can tell you this. He'll speak to you when you get an interview or whatever. I've said all this to him straight away, and he knew it. And that's why I said, you know, we need to, like, we didn't have enough time to work together.
Yeah.
And that's the hard thing for me because I know I didn't get my stent into him enough. Do you know what I mean?
But I don't think, listen, like I said earlier, it's all very well. Yes, in an ideal world, you would have loved, I am presuming, to have had a longer time with him, like most coaches would like a longer time with their fighter, to gel, to get to know each other.
Exactly.
But everybody can say whatever they want to say, but when something is offered to you, you've now got to weigh up. Do we wait and never
then
get
the pandemic that's going on as well, you know, it's a situation that you just want to get out and fight. Yeah. And I understand that, and I respect Joe Laws for that.
Yes,
and I do respect him for that, but you know, Joe Laws, he just wanted to fight the kid.
Yeah.
That's the way we should finish this. He just wanted to fight. And being sick and whatever was wrong with the guy, he just didn't want to let anybody down, and he just wanted to get on there for his fans. And that's the way the kid is. And you gotta respect that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Listen, I am so glad that I met you in a hotel bar.
Don't say that too loud.
But it was good to meet you.
We didn't have no cocktails.
We didn't. Next time.
No.
Next time. But listen, what I love about you, an old school trainer, I can see that, I can feel 100%. It. You love the boxing. And at the end of the day, you know, I wish you all the luck in the future. I know big things are coming out of your gym. So you just keep doing what you're doing.
Guys, Champions Gym is on the up. We're only getting out there. And let me tell you, I'm here to help fighters. That's my gym. I'm here to help fighters and boxers get better at the sport. But at the end of the day, I can only take on so many fighters. I've got what I've got now. I'm happy, and I need to put all my time and my effort into them. And that's what we got to do. Next year is going to be a big, big year for Champions Gym and all my fighters that I have. As I say, I'll shout them out again. Francie, Stephen,
Nice.
Thomas, Joe Laws, Paul McCullagh, and the man himself, Lee Reeves. El
Nice.
Champo. We call him El Champo now. That's his new name.
El Champo.
El Champo. He's a kid to watch out for. You should get him on this. He is a great, great kid.
I will.
And
Listen.
a good-looking kid at that. And he can box. And
All
he can fight.
of those things wrapped up
And he
into
can
one.
dance.
Listen, and also I'm holding you to my holiday in Lanzarote.
Listen, you let me know. I look after you. I'll pick you up at the airport. You just send me a message. No problem. We look after you. Come see the famous Champions Gym because it's famous now.
It's been an absolute pleasure, but we'll keep in touch, and thanks ever so much for giving us your time, my darling.
100%. And listen, as I say to everybody before I go anywhere, Thunderbolt out!
I'm coming to Lanzarote!
Yes, baby, yeah!
If you like this video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber of Shadowboxruk UK, we'd love to see you, so please go ahead and subscribe now.